Yeah, so we could have race to 10x or something. And don't forget about the y's for the minute. Just play race to 10x. All right, what else might we do?
Substitute fruit.
Yeah, so 5 apples and 5 oranges. So this is a way of...
Can I have a big discussion about this?
Yeah.
About making something more concrete like that, because I've recently, because I'm on service leave and had to teach, I'm not a maths teacher, and had to teach my son chapter 12 in the maths textbook.
Yeah.
And he learned at primary school, you know, you can't add apples and oranges, so you can't add X and Y. But now he's doing multiplication, and he had to go 5x times 5y, and he wouldn't write down 20xy, because you can't add apples and oranges, Mum.
Yeah.
So there's a problem with that.
Yeah, and look, it's one of those things that where we teach something for some time and then you've got to change it to something else. And so you've probably got to think about if you're going to use the apples and oranges, but you're just trying to get the kids to start. By the way, this is completely off the point, but just so that you know, you can actually play that game with multiplying. So you could have race to 32a, a to the fifth, b to the fifth, where you multiply by 2 or a, or b, or ab. Something like that. So it's the same game, just teaches the multiplying part. So to do that, who's got another suggestion of what we might do? You got to if you do apples and oranges, you got to think about it because when you get to multiplying, it doesn't quite work.
If they're really struggling with a lot of the concepts still are dating and to a target, and you might go back to numbers.
So you might just play race to 10 if I guess I'm assuming you played that, but what you wanted the kids to do is get engaged in it, so that when we finish that, so let's talk about who's got a winning strategy. What did you do? They understand and they're part of that school, that class community. All right. I'm now going to ask, okay, what might you do to extend the kids who are ready for a bit of extension? And just in the context of what Christina was saying before, the thing that I find hardest to make work in classes, when I'm involved in teaching, is the business of extending the good kids. Because the kids sort of say, these year 8 kids, I've already done it. Don't ask me to do any more. I've already done what you asked to do. No one else has done this yet. Why would you ask me? Now, to some extent, you've got to have a chat with those kids. Because to some extent, they're the kids who really get into the wrong habits. And almost the only way they can get out of those habits is to leave the school and go somewhere else. So you've got to say to them, listen, you're good enough to do this better. Your opportunities in the future are connected to what you do now. You have to do something about it. And I want to see you doing that. So you have to talk with them one-on-one. It's no good talking to them in the class because they don't want to be embarrassed like that. You've got to find ways to get those good kids to do the good work. I've said this to you before, I'm sure, and I said it to Wayne Craig. And I've been in at least 10 schools in the Northern Metro region for a reasonable amount of time this year. And I said that's true for every single class, every single school. The kids who are most need help are the good kids. The kids who are most not being extended, not being achieving much, are the good kids. And in every single class I've been in, that would be the case. And so I think we have to find ways to do that. So one of the things is, okay, what if you finish? What might you do there? Yeah, devise a strategy for winning the game and write it down. I'll come back and play you in a sec once you've done that. What else might we do? Okay, so you can actually make the numbers that you can add more complex. Yes?
Something similar with trying to be more variable, but not symmetrical stuff instead of adding 2x to 2y.
Yeah.
So maybe you could add an x minus y or a y minus x to it.
Okay, that's a really nice idea. Actually, have an x minus y and find that how does that change the strategy for winning if you've got that. So it just makes it a little bit more complex and gets them to think about the negative numbers. Any other suggestions?
You could do something not based on the mathematics at all, but if this was in a circle or whatever, if you, say you had 3, so x, y and z, and if someone adds a z, then it changes direction or something like that.
Okay, so you actually, see, that's nice. Playing it as a large group, and you're actually adding on something, but if you add something, you change the direction. And that's the sort of thing that, yeah, that's the sort of thing that kids like, where they get used to a game at one level, then another rule makes it slightly more complex, another rule makes it complex. The kids like that. And it's also, that's a good suggestion.
Just quickly, with the negative number, if you have one positive, one negative, you actually get a result.
Well, I think you would if you had one positive, one negative. You could be working towards a result. But like if it was an x minus, if you could add a minus y, you'd never get a result. But if it's an x minus y, it might. You might need to try it out. It's a good point. Okay. So I had the same things that you had there. So you might just change the target. So that's there. Oh, I meant to change this. So here's another question. Can you read that as 4 o'clock, please? If you just talk quickly at your table, where in the world might it be 4 o'clock now? Can we have some suggestions of answers? Who's got a suggested answer?
New Zealand, Ireland, and Southern America.
Oh, New Zealand Island.
New Zealand, they're ahead of us.
Yeah.
Ireland are behind us, so we're 12 hours behind. Somewhere in America we think would be.
Oh, okay. So they've got 3 answers now. We'd have to probably explore that a little bit. I think New Zealand's right. It's okay. So New Zealand, and we'll just leave the Ireland America one for a minute. Who's got some other suggestions?
The actual answer is nowhere in the world is currently 4 o'clock right now.
Yeah, no, I was joking. I asked this 5 minutes ago, so. Yeah. But where else apart from New Zealand might be 2 hours, whatever it is? Fiji, someone suggesting? Do you think it's Philippines or? Well, it's open, so we can have other. So even to try and work out whether there's more answers than Fiji, you've got to do a little bit of thinking. What about Tonga? Would Tonga be? Well, yeah, because there actually it sort of starts to wobble a bit because it's near the dateline. But yeah, but we to do that. All right, where about the other? What about the other side? So there is actually going to be another side of the world. Where do you think that is? Anyone got any information to that? Sorry? Italy, you think? Okay, so Italy might be sort of 10 hours. We're looking for someone that's 10 hours difference, aren't we? Oh, Greece is 8 hours different. So we've got to go 2 hours more somewhere. Yeah. Okay, anyway, the point about this is the question is different and allows you to do different things. But that's not what I'm particularly interested in at the moment. What I'm interested in, assume we ask this question for our kids. What might be the enabling prompts? Meaning, what might you ask that kid, the kid who, say, I've got no idea how to do that, or what might you extend the kid who just says the answer's like that? Can you just have a quick talk at your table, please? When I asked that question before, I wasn't saying that was like the best question ever asked in the world. What I am saying, though, is it just gives you, you've got to think about time in a different way. You've got to think about time zones in a different way than what you would normally. And kids can engage and they can, that kid that doesn't know much but, happens to have been to Fiji or something, can actually say something that they don't always do. So that's what, to do that. Who's got a suggestion of an enabling prompt for this question? Yeah, or we may even have a world map and say, here's a world map, does this help?